Your phone's on silent? Yeah, a woman can be a teacher, a woman can be a doctor, a woman can be a president. Yeah, and that forms the crux of our discussion today on the program Women Voices for Peace. Good afternoon and welcome to Women Voices for Peace, a program sponsored by ONAH, West Africa Network for Peace Builders. Okay, today we're looking at importance of women's participation in political and civic affairs, women participation in politics and all that. And today I have two guests to do justice to this topic. Mrs. Stella Amani, Executive Director, Society for Women and Youth Affairs, SWAYA. You're welcome, Mrs. Amani.
Thank you.
And I have one of the regulars in the house. He is always here, Tom Baridunga Kote, Chairman of Rivers NGOs. He's also a civil society activist. You're welcome, Tom Barry.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, listeners.
My name is Rachel ONAH. Welcome to the program. So, let's talk about importance of women's participation in political and civic affairs. First of all, what do you mean by political and civic affairs? Tom Barry.
Okay, when we talk about political and civic affairs, majorly first political activities that relates to how we get our political leaders in place, those that are at the helm of affairs as it regards governance in the state, governance at the local government level, governance at the federal level, and even beyond that. Then when you talk about civic activities, which includes participation in election, participation in census, participation also, and ensuring that you are actually playing a contributory role in the activities and processes of these activities. They are the civic activities that take place, and from time to time, as patriotic citizens, be it a male or a female, they are expected, everyone is expected to play a key role in ensuring the successes of these processes.
Okay, in times past, we've seen that women participation in politics is just to be beating drums and hailing politicians without actually taking part in the leadership process. Stella, what do you have to say about it? You deal with women and all that.
Yeah. Women are seen to be those that add color to every event. So
shall we remain in adding color?
No, we don't need to remain there.
And dancing, shaking
so
waist.
You will see 2023 is coming. Before you know it, the activities will start, campaigns and all that. You will see women beautifully dressed in their attires, and you will see them all over during campaigns. But eventually, we get to find out that elected position, you're seeing more men. Probably one or two women will come out, which they might not eventually surface at the end of the day. So this is where we find ourselves.
So Tamara, what do you have to say about the scenario she has painted?
I think the scenario she has painted is the true picture of it. But however, I think
what do you think led to that? Because why are women relegated to just being dancers and cheerers and just to come and
if you say relegation, it's like they are
if it's not relegation,
from,
what is this?
It's like they are barred from coming to the forefront. We have seen some women who have taken the bold steps to move forward, but again, like some organizations together with my organization is looking at now, we are trying to find out what is actually the reason why women have decided to stay back. Because you see that we are looking at the number of voters. Ordinarily, we feel there are more women that vote than when you look at the men that come out to vote.
You have your statistics?
We
How
are,
did you arrive
we are
at
still
that?
looking at that. we are still looking at
I-
that.
I-
But when you come to political rallies, you will see it from the crowd, like she has said. You will acknowledge that women are coming out in their numbers when it comes to rallies, and they add color to whatever it is. That day, women will come in their wrappers. They are always in uniform, well dressed, and then they give color to the event, to that political event. But eventually, when the list of participants or list of aspirants are drawn out, you discover that maybe you find just a woman among the long list that will be thrown open. So you begin to wonder what is actually the cause. Some political parties, like we are aware, have also made it open that women should not, women that have indicated interest in aspiring for political office should not pay for nomination forms. But even at that point, we are not seeing enough women coming up to say, look, we want to participate. We are not seeing many women coming up to say, we want to take the headship.
Now, let me draw your attention to what happened some years back. Sarah Gabriel, are you aware of her story?
Yes.
She came out to run for a post, and at the end of the day, she ended up being the only one voting for herself. She had just one vote. The male folks maneuvered everything, manipulated the whole process, and at the end of the day, she had just one single vote.
A point of
Her own
correction.
vote,
You
yeah.
say the male force manipulated. How?
Yeah, I stand to
How?
be corrected anyway.
Because when you say the male force manipulated,
It-
as an aspirant, I'm very sure she would have had a personal assistant. She would have had others who are also women with her. I think at no point did she come to tell us that those that were behind her were forced to thumbprint
She will not
for
talk
the male.
because Stella.
And
she will not talk. She wants to live long, so she can't talk. Stella.
Dumka, we actually know how this works, you know. The men are the ones that have the money. Finance is an issue. The women are not empowered. So when she said they manipulated, probably you know how those delegates, when they go out there to vote, they buy, we all know, they buy the delegates off. So if she does not have money to buy, she does not have that equivalent to measure up with the men, how was she going to do it? Then there's the issue of anointing. We have candidates in political parties that are anointed. If you are not anointed and they say they make women to buy forms for free, what's the need of buying form when they already know who they want to be there?
Because it's not just in
It's not
buying
just
the
in
form.
buying the form.
but
You know, so women they make it look as though they want more women. So okay, women can come and buy form. But in reality, there's somebody they have anointed, and that is the person that at the end of the day will be picked. In short, what is done is selection. They already know who they want to select.
So if we want to come to the process that lead to the emergence of candidates, you also realize that even some women are anointed and selected.
How many women?
But now, if you are talking about the numbers, then we can. But before such a person is anointed or selected or whatever that comes up, that person must have indicated interest. There must be a will to participate. There must be a will to participate, because if you have not expressed that willingness to participate, you have not expressed that desire to aspire for an office, and you sit at the comfort of your home and expect any political party to come and say, okay, we want to anoint you. It is not possible, because we even have instances where male candidates that have aspired to this position did not get the same anointing, did not get the same selection. So first is for the women to move forward, to say, yes, we can do this, we can aspire to be president, we can aspire to be governor. Like the case you mentioned, that was Sarah Gabriel. Yes, we heard the stories, and then we followed up.
Not just hearing the story, it happened in real life.
Yeah, it's a real life story. But we also have, don't forget that we have, even in River State here, we have female candidates that aspired for senatorial position, and they won their opponents that were male candidates. So Are we going to say that maybe because the men were not anointed, or that the men were not selected? If those women in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, were sitting at the comfort of their home, or maybe they were only coming because they will share wrapper for them, they will not get there.
Okay, Stella.
I beg to disagree, because a Senate where you have only 7 women, and House of Assembly where you have just about 22 out of 360. I don't know how that is okay for you or for anybody out there, because you can't sit there and tell me that women do not come out to be voted for. They come out. I have been there. I've monitored elections. They come out. Women.
So, what
come
was
out.
your experience when you monitored the election? Can you share with us?
It's the issue of the vote buying. I'm telling you this. They come out. In the bigger political parties, definitely during the primaries, they might not get through, get the ticket, but maybe they now come on other platforms. So how? We know how this thing works in Nigeria, and that is where we advocate for strong institutions, so that INEC probably will be independent, such that, or other the security agents, and so that this thing they will allow women to be there. Or on the other hand, we ask for quota system, where they will make it compulsory that in every house they will have, if you have 30% or 40%, it is done in other parts of the world, because you want to make sure that you have a good number of women in every house. How do you explain a situation where in House of Assembly you have just 1 woman? I don't know how satisfactory that is. We in River State, the likes of Victoria and Nyeche, these are women that have done well. So are you telling me that other female politicians are not willing to be elected? They are willing. Or do you know how many councillors? We have 17. I was with a councillor yesterday in Gokana. We have 17 wards in Gokana. How many councillors? I asked the guy, and one of them, and I was shocked. He said, "Well, 3 councillors, as low as councillorship." So it is a very big issue that we need to push. We really need to push and make sure that political parties and they make that quota system. They really need to put that quota system. There are women that are willing to vie for position everywhere. They are there. They are interested. Don't tell me they are not interested. Women are interested.
But okay, Stella, you talked about strong institutions while you were talking. What do you mean by that? That there are strong institutions for women to be recognized.
Yeah, institutions where it's not for women to skate through, for things to be done right. INEC being independent, that they will not be manipulated, things will be done duly. The security agents will not go and be standing for one man because probably they have bought them off. We know how these things work. The people that will be in the field that day, we know how they carry ballot boxes. We know how they pay boys to carry the toggery that goes on election day. So how many women have those boys? But if we have strong institutions, all those will not be there. So the woman can stand.
So Tabari, looking at the political space, what do you think is responsible for the sidelining of women? I used manipulation the other time. You said I shouldn't use manipulation.
Yes.
But the sidelining of women in political affairs.
When you use sideline, like when we look at the political space in our country, for instance, now you see that the political space is so tight and choked in a manner that even the political parties themselves are not transparent in the process of selection or election of who emerges as the candidate.
Transparency.
Look at what is happening in Anambra State now. Almost all the political parties that have indicated interest to participate in the forthcoming governorship election have 2 candidates that have emerged from their primaries. This is because of the lack of transparency in the process, lack of a diligent process that sees that only credible candidates emerge through a fair and transparent process. When the process is not fair, when the process is not transparent, it is